Hi, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Batcast, a podcast where I, Adam Upper, hang out with my local donkey, Braydon Ketty, and we're here to talk about Batman, the animated series. And this week, we are talking about the Underdwellers. How are you today, Braydon?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I am well. I am well. This is definitely an episode that I don't remember. I don't think I saw, or if I did, it was only the once
Same.
because did not spark any memory at all for me. So this should be a interesting episode. So this week we are talking about the Underdwellers. The air date is October 21st, 1992. Do you remember what you're doing October 21st, 1992?
Thankfully not watching this episode. This episode sucks.
Wait, oh, you don't like the getting children to do your bidding for you?
We'll
That's
get
not up.
into that, but I'm just like, okay, so right out
Yeah,
the
yeah,
gate
yeah.
here.
Good. So this episode is directed by Frank Parr. I think that's our first episode with him. The story is by Tom Ruger and Jules Dennis. And this is like the sixth episode to air, but the 27th episode that actually aired. Yeah, so this is similar to the Joker thing that there was figured way out of order, but at least this time there wasn't really much continuity issues other than like the thing where Alfred said that he doesn't know what to do with children, like or whatever. So like, which leads me to think that was Robin not around at that point because he was in that Joker episode earlier? And also, did he not raise Bruce like after
Yeah,
his
his
parents?
Bruce's only legal parental figure.
Yeah,
What does he know about raising children?
so, but for me, October 21st, I think we're probably just if it was still going on, I was probably like watching the Blue Jays play the Braves. I think I said wrong on the earlier episode that they were playing the Phillies around this time, but it was the Braves. It was the 92 and then the Phillies in 93. But yeah, the Underdwellers. Yeah, our first episode that where children are living in the sewers. Yeah, which is weird. I found was like always like a weird concept that they had. Like, how did children end up living in the sewers? Like, did like that guy kidnap them, or did they run away? And he was like, "Hey, I can watch over these children and also get them to do my bidding."
It's kind of got the vibe. So, like, you were of the generation where the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were coming out. So, like, there's that
Yeah.
movie where Shredder is kind of this Fagin Oliver Twist kind of character who's, sending these kids out to commit crimes on behalf of the Foot Clan. So I get that vibe. This character, the Sewer King, as he's called, this guy's just a loser. This is like just some wannabe cosplayer thespian actor who's wandered off like a Shakespeare production. This guy's dressed up like Richard the Third, like some kind of Taliban kind of character. Like this guy, I sent you a clip of the Monarch from Venture Brothers because this guy actually sounds like a mix between the Monarch and Skeletor, and yet both of those characters combined have more dignity than this man. Like I know that it's always going to be hit and miss when you're making your own original character because King's not based off a character on the comics. I still don't understand why you didn't go with somebody like Ratcatcher or Killer Croc, but especially with the alligator theme that he's got going on in this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
But
That's what I was thinking the entire time. That like this would be the perfect time to at least allude to Killer Croc, and then but the only thing is that he has those couple of fucking alligators or crocodiles. I never know which is which on fucking leashes. So I was like, that's they could have brought up Killer Croc, but they did. They pretty much didn't.
yeah, but what do
Uh,
you think of Sewer King?
yeah, he was fucking pretty fucking lame. Like plan didn't seem. I didn't have like a formal plan because I think near the end when Batman got to him, or like right before Batman got to him, where like you see him talking to the kids, he's like, "Go out and steal pretties." Like it was just it felt like he was trying to get a bunch of crows to go out and steal stuff for him because that's basically like what crows do is they go and steal something shiny and bring it back to you if you befriend them. So like,
And who is he
he was a
conning these things off to?
Yeah, like it wasn't like he was smug and like showed that he had like a big pile of like garbage like in one pile or anything. So like I really don't understand what his end game was.
Oh man, I have
Because,
so
yeah,
many notes on this guy, and we'll
yeah,
get on to it as we're.
yeah, because even now, like the episode starts off with just those two kids like doing like subway surfing. So it's not like as you mentioned with the Ninja Turtles, where like the opening scene is you see like a bunch of hooligans stealing shit, then it makes it back to the shredder and whatnot. It's just like the two kids being kids basically, and they're just like surfing. And Batman comes along and is like does like a bad dad joke when they both tried to jump off the subway. But with that though, like they weren't by water, so like both times when the first kid jumped off and then the second kid eventually went off, like where were they trying to jump into? Are they just going to like tuck and roll and have circus performers and know how to fucking tumble correctly, or is there like water there we didn't see?
I didn't catch any water. I'm
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
that we're just going by Looney Tunes cartoon kind of logic, but yeah, I didn't even think of that. I was just so fixated on just the dynamics of this episode, and they're going for this, yeah, kids being sent out to commit crimes kind of vibe. Yeah, they steal this old lady's purse, and she's like, because the kid's dressed in green. It's like a
Yeah, it's
leprechaun
like
just stole my purse.
yeah, so I would like to think that was what the kid was wearing. It was like a green hood with a little like cape or whatever. So I guess he was. I like to think that was probably like a little wink for like Green Arrow, even though he doesn't wear a cape. I guess just so the kid wear the hood. But like, what kind of rich old lady just like it seems like a kid wearing green automatically thinks he's a leprechaun?
He come fresh
Like,
out of an opium den.
yeah, we're like 27 episodes in, like with the airing. So like obviously everyone in Gotham knows that shit is crazy because there's a Batman, like Joker's probably been around by like a couple years by now, Scarecrow. None of that means leprechauns exist. And furthermore, just because it's green doesn't mean it's a leprechaun.
That's prejudice.
Like if the kid like ran away, he's like, they're always after me, Lucky Charms, and then yeah, maybe, but I think that would be the only thing that would make me think that somebody is a leprechaun.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get to if the kid said something in a couple of minutes. Believe me. So yeah, Batman goes to the Batcave and talks to Alfred, where he's given the layout of these kids running around and committing crimes, and decides to look into the theater district, I guess, where they were coming around. Cut to underneath the street, you've got these kids sewing clothing, and they're collecting all these stolen items down in the sewer. And one of the kids is crying out in pain when he hits his leg or something. So this bell rings. All the kids are kind of marshaled in, like it's like pretty much the dinner bell, and you get them having this kid. I'm sorry, this guy, this freaking guy. I cannot stress enough how much of an embarrassment this person is as an installment in the Batman Rogues Gallery. This character, the Sewer King, there's no threat factor whatsoever to this guy. He's just a lunatic. Even like this dude would 100% get beaten up in Arkham. The ventriloquist would kick the crap out of this guy.
Or the calendar man would be like, "You're my bitch now." Yeah, that's how lame you are.
Yeah, I just okay. I also don't understand. I don't know if it was an editing error or if it was something they were going for with the vocal performance of this actor, but they have him repeating his lines too. Did you notice that?
No, like what were they?
Like he'll be
What
like,
got
"But
repeated?
you," and he's like sounding like a DJ. I'm like, what is like? Is this the editor slipping on the controls or something? Like he
Or
sounds
maybe,
like
or well, yeah, with that, like just because he's like has kids doing his stuff for him, maybe he said doesn't have the confidence and he's a stutterer, maybe.
could be. I
So
just took
yeah,
it as he was doing it so repeatedly in that one scene in particular. He doesn't seem to do it later on for the rest of the episode. But I was just thinking it's like side hustling as like a DJ or something. Like, I've been to Coachella. Tell me where the freaks at. Batman comes up with a mirror, just shows him his reflection. Oh, that's just hurtful, man.
yeah. And to speak on his appearance, what was with the glasses? Like the left focal or like or whatever was blocked out, but like at the end where Batman was like screaming at him like, "I got you now," so you don't do anything to the kids anymore. Like his eye looked like it was working and stuff. So like I don't understand why why they went with that choice where like one of his eyes were like yeah like quote unquote not working or just one with the glasses or whatever. That was never
So I was
touched
looking
on at
at the
all.
production notes and the trivia for this episode, and I don't know if this is an official note from the creators or if it's something that just a fan noticed, but they were saying they're giving him kind of like a Captain Hook kind of vibe where like the colored in lens is like supposed to resemble an eye patch, and with all like the frilly shirt and the big cloak, he's supposed to look kind of like Captain Hook. But I'm like, yeah, but I've seen some terrible Peter Pan productions, and this, yeah, no, this guy looks like, how when you watch the Harry Potter movies and you see like Alan Rickman as Snape, and you're like, why would this guy have a childhood where he was bullied? No, this is what Snape looks like in the eyes of like James and Sirius Black. Like this is the guy that they see when they look at Severus Snape.
Actually, I've still only seen like the first like one and a half Harry Potters.
We gotta do a marathon sometime, man. Harry Potter drinking game.
I don't know, man. Like my one friend has tried to get me to at least finish the second one so many times, but like just either I've like fallen asleep, not necessarily because the movie is bad. It's just I've either like fallen asleep or something's happened and we've had to stop. But yeah, I think I've made about like halfway through the second one. Is about as far as I've gotten so far.
I'll be sitting there on the couch poking you with a stick when you fall asleep, poking you with a wand. But yeah, so here's one of the biggest reasons that okay, other than the Sewer King, because again, we can talk about this guy all day, but the reason I don't like this episode is, and this is something moving forward in terms of like how I review. I know that like they have standards and that they have like guidelines that they have to abide by. So there's standards in broadcasting, there's censors and stuff like that. That I'm well aware of that. I'm also aware that when it comes especially to this show, when they're limited in certain areas, that's when they tend to get creative, right? So it's like the old saying, desperation is the mother of innovation. So the very fact that this guy says the kids aren't allowed to talk, you have a story that is essentially about Batman rescuing children, right?
Yeah.
None of these kids have voice actors. And it just removes the complete soul of these characters. Like they have this one character, Frog, who's kind of like the center piece of the entire story, and he has no voice. Like they have Foley artists, so like when the kids are like walking through the steps of the sewers and stuff. But I'm just like, this is just there's no reason that they could not have brought in kids. And even if it's a budget thing, imagine you're like a producer or like just like an editor or something like this, and you say to your son, hey, do you want to come into the studio and like let's see what your dad does for like a day job? Like, do you want to just be in a cartoon? Do you want to be in a Batman cartoon? Kid's not going to jump at that opportunity. And that's, I think, the biggest detriment to this episode is that they want you to care about these kids being bullied by this character, the sewer king, but there's absolutely no spirit to these characters. Without a voice actor, why should I care? They're just cardboard stand-ups to me.
Yeah, you definitely don't feel for the kids. You're not like taking the place of the kids. So you're like, I want them to get out of the sewers. They're just
Did you
this is
watch
very
the
bad.
Aliens movie where Ripley met that kid Newt?
Was that was the second one, right?
That
Aliens,
was
I
the
think.
second one.
Yeah, yeah,
So this is how I would have done the episode. Have the kids like see so obviously he wants the kids to not be able to talk, right? But this
yeah.
is how you fix that problem. Because you know what, if it's a timing thing or if it's you're getting rushed into production, that's one thing. You have the kid not talk at first, but when this kid is warming up to Batman, then he talks. Like that's what they did in Aliens, where you
Or
have this
or
kid who is mute.
or yeah, or like or set it up that the kids are afraid of adults other than Buddy, so that if they see somebody, they won't talk. And yeah, and that was one of my notes too. That like would show him talking to the kids at the beginning after seeing the frog and the other kid come down, and he's talking. He's just a setup. that they're supposed to be quiet and whatnot. He's just freaking screaming his face off, being like, "You guys need to shut the fuck up so that nobody knows that you're here." But he's fucking screaming his fool head off. Like that shit's gonna echo in the sewers for so yeah, yeah, especially with that fucking tone of voice that he has. That shit's gonna carry for so long. He's like, yeah, you guys can just shut the fuck up because, yeah, I just don't want people to think it's only me, the crazy person down here, so that I'm not, they don't know that I'm have like a harem of kids frigging to do my bidding.
You know what the worst part that just hit me is? It echoes in the sewer. So
Yeah,
that voice alone just
yeah,
ringing in your ears. And that's
yeah,
the
like
only
it.
voice you're gonna hear.
I know, like if it was my voice, it would get lost, or you just hear like the peanuts, like teachers like wah, 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 like after a couple blocks. But like, yeah, that shrill fucking voice, that's going to carry for so fucking long. And why is that kid's name Frog? Like he doesn't ribbit instead of in place of
Green, I
talking.
guess.
So yeah, but so I guess like I was thinking initially that might be like a Lost Boys reference, maybe with like the Frog Brothers, maybe. But only one of them's doing it. But that doesn't really make sense though because there's only the two kids there. So I don't know why that kid's name is Frog. That's like a bad nickname for a kid.
Yeah. And then, that was the best part is when this kid eventually runs away and you get the sewer king who's like sitting there having his turkey dinner. And he says, Frog, can you pass the rolls? Grabs the kid by the scruff of his neck and says, You, where's Frog? And the kid, of course, says nothing because
Yeah,
one, no voice
yeah,
actor, and
yeah.
two,
He's
you
like,
told him not to say anything.
yeah, you're not Frog. He was able to. It took him this long to figure out that the kid is not back. And who
It's like,
made the food?
where's Frog? He doesn't say anything. Do you understand the conundrum that you set up, dude?
Now that you brought up the food, I didn't think of this when the episode was on. But like, who made the food? Like, did he make the food and put it out and was like, make the kids serve it to me now, or like kids made it? Like, kids are like 5 to 7 years old, looks like, or less than 10. They don't know how to work a fucking oven, let alone make turkey and buns. Like, where the fuck?
Plus,
Like,
going into the mechanics of operating an oven in an
yeah.
open flame in the sewer.
Yeah, and yeah, turkey that takes like hours to make. They're not going to know to friggin' base that stuff correctly to make it look as good as it did.
Yeah. So yeah, getting back to the episode, we're gonna have plenty of tangents going forward on this. You get Batman going to the sewer, and you get him finding this kid Frog and bringing him home. And yeah, you get Alfred getting told like, I need you to watch this kid, and Alfred going like, I don't know anything to do with children. It's like, well, I mean, you do, but the very fact that the man child that you raised is now a tights wearing vigilante, maybe you don't know what to do with children.
And the kid going down the stairs and the serving platter seemed bad because it didn't seem big enough to hit the stairs correctly. The kid was like bouncing off each stair, so that was like the worst way to go down some stairs with a like on a makeshift sled.
Also, did you notice that Bruce Wayne has guns? Why would Bruce Wayne have guns? Bruce Wayne, of all people.
Where were the guns?
When the kid gets into the armory and he grabs that, like, it's like a filibuster or something. And
Uh,
I'm probably, it's probably the wrong terminology for the rifle, but it's like, it's old style rifle. And for some reason, this thing I'm pretty sure was loaded and like fires it off. So it's like, why would Bruce Wayne, who had his parents shot, have a freaking, and plus has no like moral qualms with, like, is refusing to kill people? Why would this man have freaking guns?
how did I miss the gun? I don't remember that at all. That's weird. I would think that would be something I would have remembered.
It raises more questions than answers.
That just raised further questions.
Yeah. So while Alfred's dealing with Frog, you get Batman going into the sewer, and this is where I will bring in the one positive note that I have for this episode is when Batman sees it's not just one kid, it's an entire like crowd of kids underneath the sewer who are malnourished, looking in their like rags and stuff like that, looking disheveled. Like you see the fury in his face. Like if there's one thing that this episode gets across is that when it comes to innocent kids, Like if you mess with kids, that is a line for Batman that you are a dead man. Like he's probably gonna, keep himself from killing you at the very last second, but he is not pulling his punches.
Like if they're not sidekicks, they need to go to school.
Yeah. Only I'm allowed to endanger children.
Only I know the training to do this correctly, not some guy with one eye in the sewer.
And when I was looking at the production notes, so Bruce Timm apparently, again, this is where I try and take into the context of the bigger picture here. That Bruce Timm was told by broadcasting standards that there's a lot of stuff in this episode that they had to cut because when it comes to like kids getting like abused and stuff like that, it has to be very sensitive. Except he was abusing kids. He was denying them food. He locked a kid into a closet with a light because I guess it's been so long since he's seen daylight that it's going to be like blinding to him.
Oh yeah,
But
because they do
like,
that
and he
because
threatened
the
them
what?
with alligators.
Yeah, because yeah, they touch on that a few times. Where like, because I guess the series are dark, and like the one kid has like just brings out sunglasses somehow and like out of nowhere and starts wearing them and stuff. Yeah, but I guess that was
Yeah,
not something I would have thought of as the sewers being dark. But I guess that goes to show how much time I don't spend in the sewer.
is yeah. What you don't?
Well, yeah, I do. I do live in Toronto, so I guess if there was a sewer system to that I could probably traverse, it would probably be here rather than
You're
anywhere in
50%
Canada. If
there.
yeah,
You've ridden
yeah,
the
if I could.
TTC.
Oh man, there are so many times where I've been like sitting there waiting for the subway where I wanted to just go in there and just start walking around and see what's what.
I smell pizza.
Just waiting for Sam Rockwell to offer me regular or Menthos.
I forgot Sam Rockwell was in that.
That was his first movie.
No way.
Yeah, yeah. Way back in
Yeah, time
fucking
flies.
1989.
He's a big boy now. So when Batman gets to finally confronting the Sewer King, he sticks his crocodiles onto him. And okay, so you get the mechanics. So my dad works in mechanical engineering, and I work in building operations at my job. So I understand a little bit about like how the physics of mechanics and stuff like that work. But even I had to quiz him on this because you got this scene of Batman holding open an alligator's jaws. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that alligators have some of the strongest bite power
Yeah,
known to man.
you can do that holding it close because all the muscles are for the to do the crunching. But yeah, like unless like Batman's taking some venom from Bane, he's not holding that alligator or crocodile's mouth open.
The entire Batcave is full of just evidence. And he's like, that's for me. That's for me. I take the Joker venom when I need to actually have a laugh. But I looked it up. Get this alligator average bite force is between 2,000 and 3,000 psi. So for those of you who don't know what psi stands for, it's pounds per square inch. So in other words, Batman is lifting at minimum 2,000 freaking pounds. Ivan Drago couldn't lift that much.
I will break you.
Oh, so yeah, they go fighting with the alligators, and I'm just like, this should be so much cool. Like just reading this out loud, I'm like, this should be so much cooler than it actually is. And Sewer King's just whacking him with a stick, and like you just get him fighting him on the over this like I still understand like all these pipes are like crisscross and stuff like that, and Batman's just like hiding up on like the just like over above it, and Sewer King's ready to like kick him off and feed him to the gators. Just picturing this guy just when Batman manages to knock him out, ready to monologue like freaking Richard the Third, like a gun, my kingdom for a gun. Like, what is this dude? Like, I don't know what they were going for with this character. I really don't. Like, I feel like they had a lot of interesting ideas, but at the end of the day, it's like, you know what? Your adaptation is for Batman. So you've got a rogues gallery that already works here. You just got to make it your own thing. And there's no way you would have done this to like Ratcatcher or Killer Croc. So like, and when Ratcatcher would have been a better option than this guy, I think that speaks volumes. So yeah, Sewer King jumps into the water, and because they're his pretties, as he calls them, the
My
gators don't hurt
pretties.
him.
Because they're really my children, not these fucking
Every
children that steal
line
my
this
shit.
freaking character utters is just like absurd. He chases him into the subway and knocks the Sewer King onto the track. And it's so sad that I'm just like, it's not the Joker, it's the Sewer King. I'm just like, if you're gonna break your one rule, man, just like do it for this guy. Like Gordon doesn't know about him, none of the police know about him. Like you are saving him the paperwork. Just
Yeah, and
put
he's
him on the
and,
third rail.
and he's fucking with children, so you could just let him get hit by the subway. But and actually, at one point, yeah, like when he does catch him at the end of the episode, he actually does like scream in his face, like "I could kill you, but I'm not going to." I think it was one of the few times you actually in this series that he actually says that he's not going to kill anybody.
That scene of Age of Ultron where Quicksilver's like getting final one last time getting pissed off at Quicksilver, or a Hawkeye getting pissed off
Yeah,
at Quicksilver. And
well,
it's just
I
like
could just do
no
it.
one
Man,
would
nobody.
know.
Yeah, I
Nobody.
could just do it. Do not see that coming.
And then even the Sewer King, when he like rescues him at the last chance of like getting hit by this train, even the Sewer King's like, why would you just let it run over me? Like he's begging you, dude. It's a mercy at this point. Like I've
It's the
seen
one.
my reflection.
It's the one thing with the people at Arkham. Like you can fuck with Gotham all you want, just don't fuck with kids. I will kill you if you come in here with it. If you fuck with kids, Batman
Oh
all you
yeah,
want, but don't fuck with kids. He knows that, so he's like, kill me now before I have to go back. I don't want to deal with the Joker again because we're locked in with him.
yeah. I think the Joker would just be like, it's actually worse torture to let you live. You get to live
Yes.
with yourself.
And how much
But
of a
I
fucking
think,
bad villain you are.
yeah, I think it does speak on a serious note. I think it does speak the innocence of kids to Batman because at the end of the day, like Batman, the whole reason he does this is because he was a kid when his parents were shot. So I think innocence and protecting kids from like the horrors of life is I think part of his whole like operational code because he wants to see any kid, not just a kid like him, but any kid protected from the like awful people in this world. So
Yeah,
I think that's where the episode has like one leg to stand on.
and, and it's like a peg leg at most to go back to the pirate theme.
Oh gosh, one wobbly peg leg, one drunken wobbly peg leg sailor. So Batman, he manages to take out the Sewer King, thankfully or unfortunately not permanently, but gets him brought out to the cops and brings the kids up to the surface so that they can be brought to like social services and stuff. I'm just picturing that awkward conversation where he's asking the social worker, "Think I could bring these kids home? Think of an army of Robins I could be putting at my disposal."
At least
Like,
one of
sir,
them knows.
please leave.
At least one of them's got no gymnastics, right?
Yeah. Well, the kid who jumped off a subway clearly does.
Got a decent tuck and roll, yeah, because I said there's no water around there. What the fuck? So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a good ending. And like again, if they had saved even one line for these kids, like like imagine the kid just rushing into, like the arms of one of these social workers and turning around and seeing Batman and just the one line of just thank you. Like
yeah,
just
something,
one
yeah.
thing. And I'm just like, again, I know that there's limitations. I know that they have like boundaries that they have to do and stuff like that. But I can tell when it's just being lazy. And
Now
that's, I mean,
the the
that's the
casting
problem.
director is like, I think it was just a casting director is like, I don't want to fucking deal with kids this week, so let's just not have them say anything. Fucking, I don't want to do it.
Oh gosh.
Because dealing with kids are fucking pain. I don't want to fucking try and get them to say like five, even if it's 5 words you just do. I just want to deal with them. So can we just not have them say anything this week? Oh, okay, that's yeah. We need to we need to be quick this week, so we're a little behind. So why not? Yeah, fuck it. No kid, no lines for the kids.
Not kids. But yeah, we should probably get to the rating and final thoughts because I think that's all we got
Yeah,
for
so
an episode recap.
yeah, so what would you rate this episode out of five sewer kids?
Sewer kids. Well, considering they can't speak for themselves, 1 out of 5. Like this episode blows, man. I'm
Right on it.
like coming into like rewatching like the end of the first season, and I gotta tell you, man, like there's episodes that are a little boring, but I have yet to see a worse episode than this. This
So,
just
so
yeah.
yeah, so it's our first bad filler episode.
Oh yeah, this gets. I think I mentioned to you. I have this idea for like what I call like the worst or crappiest or even just stupid Batman moments. This episode gets the Guano Award, which if you don't know, guano means batshit.
Yeah, but it's good fertilizer, so it could mean good though, depending on how you look at it. But and I think I will give this probably not. I didn't dislike it as much as you, but it's not saying it was a good episode. But I'd probably give it probably two sewer children. I think out of five, because yeah, it was now that you mentioned up and how friggin' bad this one is and how bad the villain of the week is in this one. Yeah, it doesn't really. It was an okay filler episode, but not definitely not one of the better episodes that we've seen so far. It's probably our first bad episode, I think. But yeah, definitely, yeah, 2 out of 5. I think I'm giving this one.
I had
So
so
on
much fun writing notes about this, but I'm just like, why is it that I have so many better ideas than were clearly put into this episode?
that.
That's not me
uh,
bragging. This is just me thinking off the top of my head.
the gift of hindsight. But all right. That is the episode for this week, folks. Thank you to everyone for listening to us yammer on for however long it's been. Next week's episode will be POV, which is that the one where it's like the different stories of like somebody like 3 or 4 people saw Batman and they're trying to give it their story of like what happened, their version of what happened, or am I thinking of a different episode?
No, you're thinking of the right one. Yeah, it's kind of like a
Okay.
Rashomon kind of style
Yeah,
story.
so that yeah, okay, that so hopefully I think if it's an episode, I'm thinking it would be much better than this one. So follow us on Twitter/X at Beyond Backcast, on Instagram at Beyond the Backcast, and you can listen to us and all the where all major podcasts are found at Beyond the Backcast. And Braydon, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram at Alfred is Zaddy. That's Z
Oh,
or Z
Zaddy.
ADDY. And I'm going to be definitely making good use of Sewer King memes on that page.
All right, and you can find me at Stump Chunkman on Instagram and follow me there, or you can follow and listen to my other podcast that I do sometimes called the Multiverse of Marvel. And now that the Deadpool 3 trailer, the teaser trailer is out, I should probably get on that and probably do like I don't think we've done a Deadpool episode yet, so we should probably do that. And you can find that wherever you find podcasts at. And thanks for joining us in the Batcave to talk about Batman the Animated Series and our first bad villain of the week at Beyond the Batcast. Goodbye, good chums. Kapow.